Hello everyone, welcome to this live stream. Welcome to Respectful Dave. In today's live stream I'll be playing 3+0 as the title suggests. I'll be not sure why I highlighted d4. I'll be playing mainly e4. Maybe actually my subconscious was trying to warn me that d4 is not going to be played. That's why it's on red. And e4 will be played, therefore it's green. Or maybe I'm feeling like Christmas season is arriving, therefore trying to combine red and green. I'm not sure what my subconscious was trying to tell me there. But jokes aside, yeah, I'm probably going to play e4. If anything, if I'm going to move the d pawn, it's not going to be to d4 but to d3. And you may say, well, David, what is the point of that? Well, this is what we call setup a schematic system chess. You choose a system. I would choose the King's Indian system. Knight f3. G3, bishop G2, of course D3 as mentioned, knight BD2, castle short side, and then from there we'll take it, maybe E4, maybe C4, maybe B3, bishop B2, depending on what black plays. Okay, so let me just make sure that everything's working right, and we should be able to click on this, 3+0. We want always higher rated players, although if we struggle finding a game over there, we may need to change it. What is this? But hopefully everyone's been having a good day. Hello, Roger. Hope you've been having a good day. So let's get going with this. There we go. The one goes d4. I'm gonna go d6. This is what I've been playing lately. I'm going for a King's Indian structure. I'm gonna go knight f6. White goes c4. I'm gonna go g6. Ah, and they go e3, so they go for the Smyslov system with the bishop inside the pawn chain, which is pretty interesting. I was, out of pure luck, I was actually taking a look at this today. Which is pretty surprising. Out of the amount of openings White could have chosen, they end up choosing the one that I was looking at today. They go for b4, I'm gonna go for e4, rook e8. You can go queen e7, attack this pawn, well, protect this pawn. And now it's all about a race. White goes for a queenside play, and I go for kingside play, starting with bishop f5, h5, knight e6. They go a6, kind of forcing b6. I don't have much choice in that sense. I'm a little bit worried about knight d5 in some positions. I think I can tolerate it for now. I'm going to continue h5. So now kind of knight d5 is even kind of saying you can't take, David, there's no way you can take. 96, knight d5, queen d8. Takes, knight takes e4 is a little bit worrying. Shouldn't be the end. I think I'm gonna go for 96. This is the natural way of playing as black. You want knight g5, h4, and so on. Trying to see here, knight takes, and e3. That seems very tempting. c6 is a move. h4 is a move. Knight g5. I like h4. Okay, I like queen d7 now. We're setting up some sort of knight g5, sacrifice on g4. If bishop g4, I can go knight g5. If knight d5 makes sense to get some pieces off the board. This one I'm not too worried about, actually. Whoa, okay. So it either works or it doesn't work. Bishop takes h3, g takes h3, knight takes h3, queen takes h3. Okay, maybe there's no mate. What should I do now? c6? Pretty sad that this doesn't work, huh? Could go bishop h6. Not sure what that does. This is pretty depressing. This is bad news. I was putting all my money, absolutely everything, into that. I'll try to redistribute my pieces here, but I don't think that's a good move. Okay, this allows c6, I guess. Yeah, this doesn't work. Okay, let's take. Hopefully. Okay, I have no choice here. Kind of have to go queen e7 here. Not sure what I had to do there. My opponent is pressing on the clock. Queen f6. Yeah, I'm running out of time here. Okay. Not clear, actually. Ugh. Yeah, I have not enough time. No time at all. I mean, we are playing against the 2700, but we could have done much better here. Trying some tricks here. Thinking about telling me thanks for the game, Dima. I mean, very competitive first game. Good news, actually. Hello, Viking. I've been doing well. You? So I was taking a look at this just today. So I was fresh out of the ideas, and I knew that e4 was one of the ideas, but actually not the top engine move. After b4, it turns out a5, b5 rook e8. Okay. But I went d4, knight d2, rook e8. This can't be that bad. I overprotect this. I go knight f8, part of the plan. Bishop f5, part of the plan. And then here I'm just completely... Actually, I'm doing well. c5 was strong here. Good luck trying to find this. Like out of nowhere. I mean, this makes sense. But although I have to go knight c7 on knight g5. Knight g5 runs into b takes c5, obviously. And here b takes c5 is not that strong because there's d takes c5. And my knight is on c7. For some reason, this is superior. I have no idea. Why? Knight c4. Okay. Well, not obvious at all. Here I go queen d7. c5 was still strong. And here I just, like after knight h2 is very strong. I mean, this maneuver of knight f1, knight h2 is very strong because it stops everything. But even d5, knight g5, like white can just ignore it, according to the engine, which is extremely surprising. Oh no, wait a second. Bishop takes f6 has to be played. That's insane. And then bishop e5, like there's nothing. Queen f1. Okay. Because queen h3 was being threatened. Queen f1 only move, and then after this, king g2. If king h1, all of a sudden there's queen f5. So king g2 very important, and yeah, white defense. Pretty insane. Pretty insane. I had to go c5 at some point, but yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I'll give it a better try shot. I'll give it a better shot next time. Good lord. Okay, a6 I had to play it as well. But it's also very low depth. So maybe I shouldn't take the engine seriously. I think we did pretty well. I just didn't know what to do here. All of a sudden we're left in this horrible position. I wanted to go c6. Got annoyed at d5, but we had c5. Just resist here. But this is horrible. I don't like this. It's easier to play with white than with black. So there is that. And there was nothing I could have done better. What could I have done? So here, according to the engine, I should have gone a5. made the most that white can't respond a3, so they have to make a concession. And then rook e8. Not rushed into e4. And actually, they like taking here. And after takes, I have knight b6. What's the idea? Bishop e6 and provoke d5. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, you don't have to always go e4, but e4 is a well-known plan. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's go 1 e4. Onto c6, we're gonna go the Caro-Kann. We're gonna play the exchange Caro-Kann as we usually do. Knight c6, c3, e5. I think is the main line. Which I think I take. Knight f6, I go knight f3. Bishop g4, h3. Bishop h5. A castle. Ah no, I had to go bishop f4. Okay. Well, I go bishop f4 now. Yeah, this is the reason why I had to go bishop f4 before, because now black is in time. Like, if I had gone bishop f4, e6... Yeah, I think I'm in time for queen b3, but I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna take... Now I'm unfortunately not in time for much. But I'm gonna go queen e2 followed by queen e3. Queen c7. That's a weird move. I'm gonna go knight e5 now that the knight is not pinned anymore. I'm gonna take here. I'm gonna go f4. I'm gonna go rook e1 actually. f4, queen c5. Like, it's an easy equalization. Here I'm gonna take here to damage the pawn structure. Go and come here, and the idea is very simple. Knight f3, knight g5, queen f4, queen h4, queen h7. So it's essentially made in 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go knight f3. Now it's made in 1, 2, 3, 4. Forced mate. Of course, I'm joking. Oh, every time I go queen f4, there's queen c4. So I have to watch out for that. So rook 81 looks natural. Bringing pieces into the game. Sure, black can create a weakness on c3. But you know, it's all about who is arriving first to the party. And I think the answer to that is me. Especially now that queen f4 gains a tempo. Ah, this is the idea. Okay. Very clever. Very clever. Okay. So if I go rook d3, there's f6. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna go rook e3. I'm not sure. The rook on d1 belongs on d4. That makes it clear. Okay, queen e7. Let's go rook f3. My opponent is defending. Pretty annoying. Go rook f3. So they choose that rook. I have no time for this. Let's go queen g4. Threatening rook takes f7. This I come here. Come here. Oh my, I tricked myself. My subconscious has my back. Okay, takes. We're taking here. This is just a pawn. What is this? That was a scary one. I'm threatening rook takes f8, by the way. Because queen takes f8 takes, and king takes queen h8, but no longer, of course. I have to take this seriously. Now I have the game in my hands. Rook f7. Rook f7 is kind of like the The move that is always going to be there. Okay. Bang! King takes queen h8, so queen takes f8 is forced. Nice! That was a nice win. Let's analyze that. Let's analyze that. So, bishop d3, knight c6, c3. Let me see. Okay. e5 is one of the equalizers, meaning that this is not the main way to play as white. This is a sideline. It's a little bit unambitious, if I'm completely honest. Although c4 has its own venom. But okay, this is a sideline. It's meant to be very strategic. It's meant to play against this bishop. For example, with the bishop on d3 and the queen on g4 are occupying the only two decent developing squares for this bishop. Of course, bishop d7 is nothing to worry about. And on top of that, e5 is a move that allows white to play against the IQP, black's IQP, being the pawn on d5. But it's very sharp, like d takes e5, knight takes e5, queen e2, queen e7. And here the main line, or the most popular move, is bishop b5. I guess the engine in lower... no, depth 44. Okay. So bishop e3 is, according to the engine, the best. And after knight takes d3, what are we threatening, by the way? Bishop b5. So if it was white to play again, I'm pressing X on my keyboard, by the way, which essentially asks the question, if it was white to play again, what would white play? Like, what is white threatening? So if this is without pressing X, this is with pressing X. So it shows the threat, as the engine says here. It's white to play again. So it shows that it's bishop b5, bishop d7, bishop takes d7, queen takes d7. Ah, I see. So if it was white to play again, there is this trick of attacking the knight with any discovery with this bishop. In this case, bishop d4 is strong, bishop takes a7 is also strong. It's already an advantage for white. So that's what bishop e3 does. It just makes bishop b5 stronger, because after bishop e5 immediately, black can take with the king. What happens if they take here? Ah, just bishop e3. And make the most of that. Okay. Master Cheekman, I feel like I've played against you before. Hello, Dev. How are you? How about not losing the bishop for the knight? Yeah, bishop e5 is played to not lose the knight, like the bishop or the knight. But I guess the engine doesn't mind. Here we're technically threatening. No, we're not threatening to take this. This would open up the position. We're threatening to go 92. We're threatening to go 92. And just treat this position as just playing against the IQP. Okay, well... So that didn't even happen. As I said, bishop f4 had to be played here. This is what I've studied before. Queen b6, I never know what to play. Most people go queen takes b6. Okay. The engine likes h4, which I don't completely understand. What's the idea of h4? Not a3, of course, playing in one side and then the other. Just for the sake of it. Nah, I'm joking. Of course, this is very difficult to understand. I'm mocking myself when I do these things. Because it's just engine chess. You go h4. What is that move designed to do? Not obvious at all. Knight e2, e6, knight a3, queen takes b3, takes b3. What is this? I don't understand h4. This is insane. The main line after h4, by the way, is e6, knight a3. And what is the point of h4? I don't understand. Queen b6, okay, maybe we can find out by... Okay, black is threatening to go e6. And then, after knight e6, after knight d2, bishop e7, queen takes. Why can't we go knight a3? So let's say it's white to play again, black to play. How do we... Actually, let's triangulate this. Okay, it's black to play again. So e6, knight a3. Okay, it's a very, very tough position to evaluate. I think 92 is more humane. More human. Or humane. I think we can use both words there. Knight g3, and after bishop b7, this is very natural. Knight d2, or knight h5. Bishop e3, knight takes g3, h takes g3. Okay, and if they don't go knight h5 and they castle, which is very natural, they go h3, bishop h5, we take, and we have the bishop pair. Well, well, well. Not entirely obvious, but okay, bishop f4 we have to play next time, and after bishop g4, I guess queen b3. And the main line is not even queen b6, the main line is either queen c8 or queen d7. Queen d7, there's knight d2, and after e6, there's knight f3. Takes. Castle short. Rook f1. Okay. Enough theory. Hello, Aaron. Okay, we're playing against the 2600 essentially. Let's not get intimidated. And we're going to play King's Indian. Okay, we get this position. Let's go bishop g4. It's important to not castle. It's easy to castle actually. We're gonna take on f3. We're gonna go e5. We're giving up the bishop pair, but it's important to realize why. And the reason why is because the bishop on f3 is no longer, like, it's sure white does have the bishop pair, but we're probably going to be able to exchange these two, first of all. Second of all, this bishop is not incredible. So I'm gonna play h5, bishop h6, and leave this not incredible bishop alive. Now, bishop g5 is played. This is not the main line. Usually white goes d5. So now I'm asking myself why and what to do. I think I'm gonna take on d4, queen takes d4, and make the most of the tempo. So I'm gonna go knight c6. Queen d2. Knight e5, bishop e2. So I'm gonna go h6 now. With the idea of, I mean, other than just asking the question, it's also pretty annoying, this pin. It prevents me from doing, from moving my knight. It's not like I wanted to move the knight, but I'm scared of knight d5 ideas. So h6, bishop h4, white continues to bother me. Now knight takes c4 is a serious candidate move, because I'm threatening both queen takes h4 and knight takes d2, but after knight takes e4, the question is it working? I think so. I think it is working. I think we tricked our opponent into this. So bishop takes d8, we go knight takes d2, bishop takes e7, we go knight takes f3 check, g takes f3, we go bishop takes e3 check, we damage our opponent's pawn structure. And on top of that, we go king at the end and the bishop is lost, which, to be honest, I hadn't seen until I was mentioning that. So bishop takes d8 loses. We can freely, safely say that. Okay, I was lagging there, but I was essentially just explaining why. Ah, this is clever. Is it clever? I have knight takes e4 here. It's still trapped. I go king d7. Oh, isn't this beautiful? b3 is not possible because of bishop takes e3. I'm quite sure white has a way of surviving this. But probably not this one, because I take on c3. And I go king d7, and who's sponsoring this bishop? That's an inside joke. Oh, wait a second, there's rook d4. Well, what a genius. Okay, now the question is, I mean, we're still up a pawn. But do we want to exchange and go into rook endgame? Or do we want d5? Sorry. Let's go into rook endgame. Occupy this, the e file. We can also occupy the b file later on. Yeah, that was a little bit annoying, but it's fine. We can come over here. G4 we can take. Or even better, we can play rook e4. That one, let's just occupy the other file. Gonna look pretty bad for white very soon. Maybe I should have gone rook e2 first. Okay, let's go rook. He's planning to go rook a4. Okay, let's go rook e2 either way because rook a4. That's why I needed to go. Wait a second, I can go. Yeah, I have rook b1 as well. Let's leave this king in a less active square because I could have done it the other way. Okay, let's go h5. Okay, we're pretty slow here. We have to speed up. Okay, that one I absolutely missed. Okay, let's exchange everything. You shouldn't exchange everything when you're... Like, exchanging pawns only benefits the side who's losing. But I think I can still squeeze a little bit of a win here, hopefully. Yeah, not sure how useful this is going to be. No, that was a very bad move by my opponent. I'm essentially winning. This is Zuxvan. Good game to see less. I'm gonna analyze the game. Thank you for that. That was an instructive one in the sense that we managed to use our idea of bishop d4, but our time management, as always, can improve. When will you do a puzzle stream? I would have done a puzzle stream today, but to be honest, I managed my time poorly outside chess. So I decided to, because I can't stay for long. I'm gonna stay for an hour and a half longer. I'm gonna finish at it's gonna be a 2-hour stream, and I want to mainly work on this. Although if I start losing, maybe I'm gonna start doing puzzles. So yeah, d5 is the main move here, but bishop g5 I didn't realize was strong. It is actually the top engine move. d5 is not... Well, okay, d5 is also keeping the... evaluation. So bishop g5. Bishop e3 is another move. In the opening book, of course, everyone goes d5, but what about this? I take, knight b d7, knight c6. The engine can't decide. Knight c6, oh, knight c6, queen d2. And there's just some sort of dragon, but the dragon would be with the pawn on e7 rather than on c7. Yeah, this is good for white. All these lines are important to know. Here I should have gone h6 apparently, and then taken on d4. And this is stronger for some reason, because then you force this. I see. It turns out that queen d2 h6, white can go bishop e3, and by going h6, we're kind of saying, yeah, you have to go bishop e3, which is not obvious. It's much more difficult to see that bishop h4 is a blunder here, given that queen d2 is the ideal square for the queen. So you have to go all the way back to d1 or queen. And a queen e3, knight g4. Wow, this is very all about the dark squares. It's much more positional than it seems. Pretty impressive. Okay, queen d1. Castle short. Castles. Okay, yeah, this is just a normal position. Okay, well, h6 was trickier. And bishop e3 was essentially forced, and then we go knight c6, d5, and knight d4. Of course, we don't care about the pawn. This would be pawns of compensation in the dark squares. Okay. And what happened later on? Because I definitely let it slip. So we found knight 64. Found knight 62. Knight 64. d5 was stronger. But I went for the rook endgame, which is also winning. But then I failed to find either rook e5 or h5, even a rook e4. What I did is wrong, because it allows h5, it turns out, but my opponent didn't go for it. I thought I had rook e2. And just complete chaos. Look at this. Okay, I see. And this is easily a draw, of course, but it just looks super scary. When you calculate such a line, you feel like you're getting mated as white, or something like this. But we both missed it. h5 was ruining black's advantage, but then this, and then here we should have just simply take, and then go check. This is what I didn't like the idea of leaving this king there. But it turns out it's good, and then I can just start running. Okay. Well, we converted this very poorly, but eventually we found a way, and then this is like, the reason why this is a mistake is because of king takes b1, and then white gets the tempo. This is extremely difficult to evaluate. So you allow your king to be cut off in the second rank for the sake of a tempo? Okay. Good luck finding that. This is not easy. Okay. Okay, what if I play d5? Takes, 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 takes. This is a draw. But with the king on b3, let's see. With the king on b3, and with black to play, let's say. Oh no, that was white to play. It was already black to play before. This is also a draw. Theoretical draw. Okay. I need to study my endgames. Okay. Carlsen Nepo. Well, we've had a decent amount of success with d6. We're gonna get exactly the same line. We're well booked. We go e5. This time we do get the main line. We're gonna go h5. I've learned that after queen b3 we have to play b6, not queen c8, because queen c8 allows c5. And it gets very complicated. So we have to go b6. Actually, maybe it was the other way around. Yeah. So queen c2 is played. I'm gonna go bishop h6, exchanging the dark square bishops. I'm gonna go king f8. Put my king into safety. I'm gonna go a5. Fighting for the c5 square. They go a3 to respond b4, obviously. I want to go g5. That's the way I find counterplay. So I'm gonna put my rook on g7. Okay. I'm gonna develop my pieces a little bit more before we go for the pawn break. I'm gonna go for f4, but actually f4 takes, and I have the e5 square for my knight. Not only that, f4 takes. If rook takes, we have a takes before. Now that the rook is not defending that, so they go queen e3, which is designed to be waiting, just a waiting move. What do we do here? It's unclear. It's unclear. I want my knight on h7 so I can threaten. Maybe not f8. Ah, but the knight is okay there. I'm running out of useful moves here. I'm gonna go king h8. Allowing knight h7 sometimes. Ah, I see, I see. Yeah, this is annoying. Okay, I'm gonna allow this knight to c6, it's fine. Although it's not ideal. Maybe I should have gone queen f8. At h7. f5. This is 3 plus 0. 6. I'm gonna go for g5. This is defended. Okay. Happy about this. Okay. Let's go king g8 because that king on the h file is giving me some mini nightmares. I have to play quickly here. He's playing for the clock. Before knight b3. We're doing well. It's just that we're slow. Yeah, that makes sense. Queen g6. Allowing rook b8. Not something super scary. Gonna try to regroup. That knight on c6 is extremely annoying. Okay. Whoa. This can't be right. Oh, I'm falling for tricks. I mean, maybe it's still fine. I shouldn't have allowed this. Falling for further tricks. I'm gonna flag. Yeah. That was a good game. We're getting good quality games, which is a good thing. Of course, we're absolutely winning here after f4. Before that, it was equal, so we did a good job holding ourselves here. Of course. Just take this. This is one of the reasons why I put my two rooks here, because it's pinned. So knight takes e5 would have won. Although I did have 16 seconds, but okay. It's my fault for managing my time poorly. Okay, let's take a look at the whole thing. So we go for this line. We go e5, d5. This time we were following the main. So my opponent, it may seem weird for some of you, queen b3 and then queen c2, but essentially my opponent is saying, if I go queen c2 directly, your pawn is nice on b7. And c6 is a little bit better supported maybe, and or a6, b5 is more difficult. You know, it's the pawn on b7 is nice to not have moved. They're happy that it hasn't moved, because then c6 is less of a weakness. So queen b3 is it's a minor detail, but the stronger you are in chess, the more these little details matter. So maybe now c6 is a little bit discouraged for black. I went bishop h6, we exchanged, and I went king f8. Also, short set is a mistake because of knight g8 followed by g5, which I considered, but it seemed a little bit premature. But yeah, after h4, I'm getting my play. Yeah. It's not clear though, it's equal. It's only equal. But already I had to bail out into that, it seems. I think I lost the stream for a second there. Can you guys hear me? I think we're back. That's pretty annoying, actually. Not sure what is causing that. So King of 8, Castle short side, this is a mistake according to the engine. Castle's queen side is almost +1. Yes, we're back, thank you Viking. But okay, this is difficult to believe. Why is this +1? Knight bd7, I find it hard to believe. Rook df1. Rook df1? What? How on earth is this +1? Rook df1. Okay, it has a potential of f4. Well, that's insane. So rook df1 with the idea of bishop d1 and f4. Wow. Okay, well this is the reason why white is slightly better. King f8 is a mistake then. So rook h8 would have been better. What's the difference? As soon as white castles queenside, we approach this differently. Now we go knight a6, bishop d1, and because the king is not on the f file, potentially this plan is less. Wow, okay. Okay. So rook h8 is slightly more flexible. What about rook h7? Okay. Knight bd7 here is more flexible. Because sometimes white makes a move with the bishop and then we go bishop h6. So yeah, that makes sense. Next time we're gonna go knight bd7. And yeah. Here, what happened in the game? We go rook h7, knight g8 was the best, and after g3, g5. Yep, that makes sense. I said that, no, after your last puzzle, I said that I still have nightmares. Now, of course, your last puzzle was extremely good quality. And, you know, it's the Dvoretsky type of stuff. Yeah, that was an interesting part of the game. We're kind of both waiting. We go king h8, knight g8 was a more useful waiting move, but I was scared of f4 a little bit, although this would be already a mistake. So yeah. I should have provoked my opponent to play f4 with knight g8 rather than king h8. And this I should have gone queen d8, yeah. That makes sense. This rook is happy here, so I don't have to be scared of not allowing my rook into the king side. Yeah. Yeah, very minor details, but okay. There was a moment here that white could have played a c5. But after f3 it's kind of gone. Because there's f5. And this is the time trouble part of the game. Well, that was interesting. We're playing high level chess, that's the thing. Last 2 games we've been playing with black pieces as well. Which is essentially the tougher. So we're gonna go e4, e5, knight f3. Mr. Hani. Reminds me of Mr. Gianni. So there's a very simple way of playing against the elephant gambit. That is knight takes e5. Bishop d6, you go d4. Bishop c4, and then the trick is that after bishop takes e5, there's queen h5. And you get into this very one-sided, or I mean, if someone is better, it can only be white. But I do remember that it's slightly tricky to defend this. What was the best way? I think it was just knight c3. And then not fall into the trap of trying to defend it. Because bishop f4, knight g7, and the bishop doesn't belong at f4? Or maybe now there's bishop f4, e6. I like this position. Maybe I spoke too soon. Knight d4, I go bishop b3. Only move. Now this is a fair question. Bishop e5 makes sense. Bishop a3 also pretty annoying. Looks pretty annoying. Now this is tough. Tough. Let's go bishop a3. As far away as possible. e3 I completely missed. Tak. 94. This is a good question. King G 193. And we're getting destroyed. King F3 actually we can go. Technically. I know, bishop C6. What am I doing? Yeah, I'm worse now. All of a sudden, I am worse. Bishop C6. Okay, no bishop C6. Okay. Knight G3 now. Rook C1. That doesn't look right. Rook F5 takes. Knight D6 doesn't work. Doesn't seem like it does work. Knight D6. Okay, let's go for this. This is a bailout. Pretty sad. Pretty sad that I'm bailing out with white. Okay. So I'm down 2 pawns. What am I up? Essentially nothing. I think they can take that. They could have taken that. Oh, yeah. I was losing either way. What was going on? I think I should have played something better against the Alapin Gambit. So everything was working so far. Knight c3 is right, because knight takes c5 we go bishop b3 and we act like everything's fine. I remember this line when we go f5 and then this is just losing. So eventually black will have to give up the pawn, but white continues to ignore it because they're up in development. This is the engine line, and we get the bishop pair ultimately. So he or she went bishop d7, I go bishop f4. It's a great brain tester indeed. The puzzle thing, yeah. I need a coach, I don't have a coach. I taught myself and I feel like I'd get much better when I have a coach. The difference is true, but the amount of players that have been self-taught is also... I remember thinking the same, and then meeting many people, and then I've had no coach for the last 3 or 4 years. But it's useful to have coach at some point. I think I haven't heard of any titled player who has never had a coach. Like they either had a coach at the beginning and then when they were 2000 they were left or something. I've heard that story before. I think you do need a coach at some point. Okay, bishop f4 was right, knight g7 was right. But here I went crazy with e6. I should have gone castles queenside and then knight g6. I have e6 then, which is not obvious. Yeah, this looks right. This is not obvious though. Here I could have castled queenside. According to the engine, this was the right approach. But okay, where did I go wrong? Yeah, f 94 is just insane. F takes e3, knight takes e3, king d2. Yeah, but this is not easy. And then 94 here. Yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah. I didn't see king d2. I got scared of just looking at the knight here. Pretty poor by me. Pretty poor. And I'd spend my whole time trying to refute this. We're black again. I feel like I've been black like 1,000 times. Okay, they go g3. What was the way of playing against g3? I analyzed this. I think it's g6. Bishop d7. Castles. And bishop f5. So there's also c6. There are tons of moves here. There's knight a6, there's c5, there's c6, there's knight b7. But bishop f5 is one of the most active and trendy lines. Knight e4 here. If knight h4, I think knight takes c3 and then bishop c8, but I may be wrong. So they go e3. They go e3 and I can go c5. I can go c5, I can go knight d7. That looks natural. Sorry. c5 makes sense. I should not burn all my time. I'm gonna go c5. Not particularly worried about this. Queen b3 is not creating a threat, so that's kind of a weird move. Actually, this position is absolutely fine for me. I got myself a pretty decent position out of the opening. I'm gonna go knight c6, queen takes b7, rook b8, queen a6, I don't know. Knight b4, knight c2. Okay, queen b6 is an idea. Knight a5 is okay under move. I know, that doesn't work. Okay, let's not lose all of our time. Keep repeating myself. Okay, they're gonna get bishop c3, which is slightly annoying, but there's not much we can do. So let's just come here. Yeah. This is an ambitious move by me. e5. I'm gonna follow it up with b6. Okay, that one I'm okay with. Let's go b6. Now 94, there's f5. And my idea is h6. My idea is still f5 to some extent. Although potentially here... I wish I could... queen b7. Queen b7 is strong. Because queen a4, there's f5. And I'm already threatening some nasty tricks along the diagonal. Okay, that I underestimated. Classic. Okay, knight b4 forces something. Not sure what. Feels right. Okay, we forced something. Now we're back to dominating this, the e file, the d file. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna take. Yeah, I figured this would be played. The c pawn is weak. Ugh. Ooh. That knight is bad. Pretty horrible, that knight. I'm gonna bring this guy to the game. Okay, g5. I'm gonna lose on time, as I should. Oh, I'm tricking him? Essentially. This is just nonsense by me. He's panicking? I'm panicking? What was that pre-move? Thanks for the game. What was that pre-move? Kind of reacting to the last move. Should have gone rook f2. Wait a second, g2 is... I know. Oh, wait. King f6 to g2 here. Oh, but okay. What am I saying? I have 5 seconds. Can't play with 5 seconds. Oh, we shouldn't... We didn't analyze the game. Okay, we're gonna get an Alapin. We're gonna get an Alapin. We're gonna go c3. Bishop e2. Of course, this is not hanging because there's queen a4. They go e5, which is a very... it's a well-known line. I think I still have d4 because there's still d5 queen a4 ideas if black goes takes on e4. Yeah. So what is the way? I'm gonna start with h3, or I want to start with h3 at least. I mean, d5 is very tempting as well, but after knight b8 is not clear. It's not clear. I'm gonna go h3. I want to keep the tension in the center. Of course, this is still not possible because of d5 and the queen a4. Black could take on d4, but I don't see why black should break the tension. So I'm expecting black to castle. I'm gonna go knight c3. And it's quite a big deal that black can't go bishop g4. If black could go bishop g4, then my center would be a little bit more delicate. They take twice, which I've seen, but it's a little bit weird. I think I can go b3, bishop b2. But b3, they go knight d7, and then bishop f6, and that's annoying. So I'm gonna go bishop f4, which is the more natural move. I'm gonna put pressure on d6. I think I have a positional advantage. Queen b6 would already kind of... Whoa, a6? What was the idea of that? 98? This is pretty confusing. Okay, I can go queen d5. I can go bishop c4. Kind of like bishop c4 for the sake of allowing my knight to land on d5 ultimately. There's also bishop g4, which is a common... Well, believe it or not, a common... It looks weird, but thanks to my pawn on h3, I can do this. Okay, they allow me to take. I can't predict anything. Well, yeah, you're right. He's right. They're right. Now I take, though. I mean, I didn't have this idea when I put my bishop on g4, if I'm completely honest. I wasn't intending this. Okay, bishop g5, I can go bishop g3, simply drop back. Because if it takes, I don't see any way of exploiting that. Although there is f4. And then f5. No. Knight f6, bishop takes d6 doesn't work. Okay, that I can go e5. Isn't this the time? e5, d takes e5. e5 is not threatening anything though. Why rush? Oh, I have f4, bishop f6, e5. There we go. Okay. We're making progress. Duck. Duck, duck. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm lucky. Now this is winning. This is winning. That's pretty winning, actually. Okay. Creative try. Yeah, I blundered that. So now I'm safe. Much safer than before. You can go h4, but I have queen g4. Oh, I can take. I'm gonna go rook e5. Ah. This is the last thing I wanted. Ah, queen h3 was much better. Ah, ha, ha. Ay, 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 ay. What am I doing? Of course, I blunder this. Oh, yeah. I need to manage my time better. I say that after every single game. Good game, good game. Ah, yeah. Let's take a look at the voting. So we were playing well. d4, c takes d4, c takes d4, he takes d4. Yeah, I knew that the engine, like the engine just gives this, evaluates pawns with the centers with d5 and e4 much more than they should. It's not that easy. It's well known, and especially with low depths. But I guess it's, I mean only deeper analysis will prove and show. Also, knight c3 right away allows bishop d4. And given that it's a close position, maybe the bishop pair is not as strong as the knight pair. Yeah, I don't know if I should believe the engine in depth, at this depth. So d5 according to engine depth 23. Yeah, I don't know. I go h3, a5, or knight bd7, bishop e3. Yeah, not sure. Knight g7, e4 out of nowhere, just to get the queenside pawns rolling. What if black goes something like this, and then after this a5, and now we take. Okay. Yeah. All the same. It's always the same with these positions. It's always wide better, but then from one move to another, like already here, white needs to play knight b5 for a serious advantage. So it's very, very double-edged. So that's why I didn't go for this. And I went for h3 and kept the center. Hence, d5 was strong here. Yeah, this is absolutely fine for black. I don't like this. If I had seen d5, then I would have gone for d5. Interesting. But I got a very nice position. This is the sad part. We were playing this pretty well. Is bishop g4 the best? It's far from the best. Queen b4 was the best. There's in queen takes b7 and fb5. Simply bishop f3, rook c8. 92. Okay, it's getting complicated. 92 is super unintuitive. This knight on c3 looks amazing. To think that this knight belongs on d4. Yeah, good luck with that. Queen a3, rook c4. Oh, okay, of course. So what if... Well, that was the right way of converting, but I play bishop g4, which is still fine. We were doing well here, more or less. And then here we just started converting. Like, look at this. Look at this position. We're up on... I forgot that I was up a knight. I lost the position where I was up a knight. But I do have 30 seconds. Yeah, that's embarrassing. Queen e7. Here I made the mistake of... I think the practical mistake was... Yeah, Queen e7. Queen h3. Keep the queens on the board. I'm gonna checkmate him. Good game. Open highway 215. I'll get you next time. Oh, we're playing against the Grandmaster. Let's play d6. Let's put d6 to the test. Okay, c3. I haven't seen that one before. What should we do? Now we're in unknown territory. GMs are good at doing these. I'm gonna go d5 then. I'm gonna go king e8. We're getting our Philidor endgame in a weird version. We're getting the Philidor endgame with the pawns reversed. Normally you get the pawn on e5 is black and the pawn on e4 is white. So who does that benefit? Excellent question. I don't know the answer myself. Okay, so we have knight d7, we have knight c6. We have bishop c5 as well. We're gonna go bishop c5, developing the bishop. An active square. So I like the idea of playing c6, b5. But I have to develop this knight at some point. I think I can go bishop e6, by the way. Many ideas. Many ideas. I'm gonna go bishop e6. Oh, wait a second. I'm calculating lines where I castle, but I've already moved my king. Pretty poor. Very poor. I do have to play quicker. I'm gonna go knight c6. Gonna go rook d8 next. Yeah, so the moment has come. My pawn is falling. So I'm gonna go e3. If my pawn is falling, let's make it fall. And, you know, make it ugly. Go bishop e7, because from e7 the bishop is covering some key g5 squares. Okay. So this is where I get a little bit destroyed, little by little. But let's hope not. I'm gonna go rook f8. Idea is rook f5. Idea is knight 65 after rook f5. Okay, they exchange one of the rooks. I can't take with the bishop because knight c5 seems strong. So I guess I'm gonna take with the king. Though knight 6 is also possible. I'm gonna take with the king. King c8. Does king c8 make more sense? Or king e8? I think king c8 because then I can bring my rook into the d file. Okay. b6. Rook f5. They have to go rook f1 if they don't want to lose the pawn. Yeah. We're forcing the GM to do stuff. Okay. Bishop g5 doesn't work. h6. Waiting move. I want to go king d7. Given that there's this tension. Okay, my idea with that was bishop g5. But I'm going to put my king on d7 first. Okay, now bishop g5 should be working. Because takes. Well, I didn't see that. Okay. We have to take. Now we're down a pawn. What is my opponent thinking? Oh, I'm lagging. Oh, no, I'm not lagging. Okay, let's go 95. What was my opponent thinking there? Did my GM opponent find mate in 47? Potentially. Okay, let's go. Why did I do this? I'm low on time, that's why. Okay, let's go b6. Let's go b5. I wanted to, I guess. There goes my knight. Ah, yeah, good game. Where did we go wrong? c3. And I didn't even know this existed. Yeah, d5 is dubious. Okay, well. His strategy of playing something unknown in the hopes of me playing something and reacting to that in a very intense way worked out very well. So credit to my opponent for well, of course credit to my opponent. He's a GM. I want to be like him. Or her. But I don't understand why I have to go Queen e7 in this position. Why can't I just go Knight b7 like a normal King's Indian? Wow, you call Bishop d6, not Bishop g7. Okay, this is pretty weird. Pretty weird stuff. It is pretty weird to put your pawn on c3. Normally, your pawn belongs on c4 and d5 if you want to go for d5. And your knight belongs on c3. So he succeeded. He completely succeeded in confusing me. This looks pretty... I'd never seen something like this. And it's pretty annoying that in this position I have to go for the suboptimal queen. Like queen e7, what is this move? What if knight c4? Ugh. Yeah, this is very equal. But okay, I am playing the Philidor, so I shouldn't complain about that. So what if bishop d3? Bishop h6, castles, knight c4. Duck. Knight bd7. Well, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to play against that. It's pretty tricky. Surprisingly tricky. Against international master. We're getting good opponents today. It's good. Putting the repertoire to the test. Okay, we're gonna get this system. We're gonna go bishop g7, castles. a4. Normally people go c4. So a4 instead of c4. What does that mean? That means we can go c6. Okay. I think we can go 94. Can go d5 as well. Okay, let's not spend 1,000 years trying to figure out what to do. Knight of d2 we take and go d5, limiting the knight. Oh, we predicted. That's good news. Oh, wait a second. Knight takes d2, bishop takes d4. The queen takes d2. Yeah, but this can't be amazing. We're playing mind games here. I'm gonna go d5 followed by d5 followed by e5. Yeah, but I think I can keep this pawn. Especially because I'm getting a tempo on d4. Play quickly. Let's go e5. Regarding it already. Okay, I can take and go c3 at least. Ah, bishop e6. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Okay. Bishop e6 here. Hitting the knight, of course. No easy way of answering, replying to that. Okay. Stuff is happening. Bishop takes e5, threatening c takes b2. When am I blundering? This feels wrong. Bishop takes c3. Knight a6. Knight a6. Knight d7. Knight a6. Rook a b8. Knight takes b7. Rook a b8. Bishop takes d6. This is the rook d8 actually. Let's force bishop a3. And then let's play bishop b3. Actually, why don't we play bishop b3 right away? Okay, let's come here. I have rook d7 if necessary. Okay, we missed our opponent's response. Already going downhill slightly. Ah, I'm stuck here. That knight on... Okay, I have to rook d7. We have rook b1, of course. And then I'm kind of... Oh, I have a trick. Haha. Finally I have a trick. Good lord, I've been looking for that. Although he has a trick back. Oh, we're full of tricks, both of us. Rook b1, I have b5. A takes b6, a takes b6. The idea is that if rook takes b6, I have rook takes d6, but then he has rook takes b8. And everyone is astonished. Are we gonna get that? The idea is that if rook takes d6, I have rook a1 and bishop h3. But he has rook takes b8. Ah, wait a second, he doesn't have rook takes b8, because I take back and there's the same trick. So rook takes d6, rook a1, bishop f1, bishop h3, I'm winning. So I'm winning. Ah, that's good news. Let's see if we can manage our time. But it was about time. I mean, we were trying our very best to find tricks. We were slightly worse. I think if white had played f5 at some point of that sequence, they would have probably prevented all of that. Oh, they're gonna go e3, okay. Let's go knight f6, trying to go for bishop d5. Bishop d5, forcing the trade. Oh, ho, ho, ho. I think h3 was more resilient. Yeah, this is game over. This is the... Thanks for the game. Thanks for allowing me to checkmate as well. That's usually a sign of, for those of you who are listening, usually a sign of friendliness. a4 is the third most popular move here. Has the idea of a5. I think someone was playing this in the World Cup. Oh, I'm burping a lot today, sorry. But according to this, we had to play a5, so it is pretty serious. I didn't see anything wrong with c6, and c6 out of all of the moves is scoring pretty decently, you know. Out of the first four, actually, it's the one that scores the best. And then there's weird moves like a6 and bishop f5. But that has less games. It's more impressive if 29% in 121 games is more impressive than bishop f5 in 6 games. Unless, you know, the engine prefers bishop f5 in a much bigger margin. But okay, we went c6, a5, we went 94 with the idea of, I mean, usually my thought process was, usually you want to go 94. In fact, you go as far as putting your bishop on f5, weakening the b7 pawn to go 94. So my logic said, well, if we're always dying to play 94, why don't we go 94 right now? I could have done it here as well, I suppose. And yeah, c4 would have been a little bit more normal. I wouldn't have played knight a6, I'm not sure. But we went for this, and now I get d5, and it seems very natural. Here it seems very, also c4 seems weird, because I'm getting a tempo here. White is sacrificing a pawn, and usually c4, the c4 sacrifice is fine as long as they're quick. But if you have to defend the pawn, it just seems like tempo-wise, it's not gonna cut it. On the other hand, I failed to find bishop e6 and knight a6. Knight a6, knight a3, bishop e6 was good. What is the idea? c5. Okay, now that this is pinned, what about d5? Well, let's forget about that. Let's move on. D takes e5. Queen takes d2. Yeah, so e5 is not the best. Bishop e6 in some way. Okay. Turns out that after bishop e6 it's not so easy to get back the pawn. What about knight d2, by the way? Oh, of course. Yeah, there's always some tactics, I guess. But I went e5, which seems a little bit more natural. Rook d8 was the best here, or bishop e6, which I kind of realized too late. I think there was already knight f3 or f4 here. So c3 I went, b takes c3 was good, which is the most natural way of playing, and then knight e4. But after this it's around equal. Rook d8 is wrong. I had bishop b3 according to this. Oh yeah, this is... I tried making these things work, but I failed. And now I'm worse. I had rook takes d6 here, I didn't even consider it. I got rook d7. And if it's not because of this cheapo... Yeah. There's knight takes b5. Okay. Well, this is one of those moments where you think you're playing pretty well, but it's actually just all rubbish. Classic. But yeah, this is already equal though. So we achieved something. I'm gonna go to the toilet. I'll be back in a sec. I'll put the game in the meantime. Is this a bullet game? I think so, yeah. Hello, Chess Knowledge. Welcome to the stream. Whoa, what is going on here? Oh. We got 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel. Chess Knowledge with H1. Sorry, I'm playing against I'm playing 3+0 against whoever we're paired against. I'm trying to get my rating up. Also practicing my lines. Sorry about that. I could go with 1d3 to prove that, but okay, I'm gonna not waste my white. Not today, at least. Okay, we're gonna get the Petrov. We're gonna transpose into a 4 knights unless they go bishop b4, which is the reverse of Ruy Lopez. So we're playing the Ruy Lopez with the white pieces. We could just... I mean, we have an extra tempo, which is knight f3. So essentially, we have already played the Berlin. So are we back? Yes, we're back. Look at this ping. Horrendous. And we're back. No, thanks for dropping by. See you around. My opponent's taking their time thinking after knight takes e5, which is pretty interesting. We confused him. So I think their theory goes something like castles. I go bishop e2. They go rook e8. They go knight... I don't remember actually. Was it knight d3? There we go. They make a move. I go bishop e2. I think knight d3 is the move. But I can't properly recall. Okay. Knight d3 takes, knight takes e4. And then I go knight f4 and c4. What about knight f3 here? Knight f3, bishop takes c3. Knight f3, bishop takes c3, d takes c3, knight takes e4. Yeah, I think that looks right. Okay, this I take. I can also keep the tension actually. But then d5. Okay, let's take castle. Idea is just c3, d4. And I guess black is getting a little bit of that Petrov type of... we should have gone c3 right away, because now bishop c3, we... So now c3, bishop d6, black is happy. So c3 would have spent like bishop f8, and then after d5, they spend one more tempo. So I could have won a tempo. But I was too slow. So now bishop d6 looks nice and snug. Cozy. You know, bishop d3, rook e1. We have also knight e5. I don't think it's worth sacrificing a pawn. I think it's enough. I don't think we have enough compensation, that's what I mean. Okay, let's trade once. Let's go bishop e3. Maybe not ideal. Okay, that one I don't mind. Now it's time to do Magnus stuff. Let's go a4, a5. Okay, that's the end of our Magnus stuff. Let's go back to playing suboptimal chess like Respectful Dave. My idea is f4 here. Okay, okay. I see where we're going. c6, we take with the bishop. I actually don't like... I don't hate my position. So we're gonna go queen f3. Putting pressure. f6. Knight g4. This wasn't part of the plan. But I'm flexible. Okay. Let's jump back. Rook e1. Okay. Let's take here. Whoa. Oh boy, I got scared there. Wait a second. Sorry about that. I probably jump scared some of you. I got scared for some reason. Sorry. I'm losing control. Okay. Here. My knight is amazing. I've never been so happy. I don't have time, that's the problem. Good lord. I took the game, but it was pretty chaotic at the end. Let's take a look at the opening. So knight 65 is right, castles bishop 2 is right, knight f3 is wrong. Although it's a sideline, I guess. I always like thinking whenever I go wrong in the opening, it's essentially the same as, or it's the same intention behind people, top players intentionally playing something dubious to take their opponents out of prep. So it's equivalent to that. Of course, that's the optimistic way of looking at it. In this case, it's simply, I forgot the theory. But I knew that knight d3 existed. It's just that I couldn't make sense out of this. Here I thought c4. It is the top engine move. Okay, well. Yeah. These positions are pretty dry, actually. I'm surprised that the Ruy Lopez is so strong that you can play it with black, essentially this position, down a tempo, and it's still fine. It's pretty astonishing. I'm even surprised that knight 64, like, I'm surprised that white's best is plus 0.4. Like, what is that? But okay. Enough of complaining. Bishop takes c3, d takes c3, knight takes c4, castle short side is potentially transposing. And no, sorry, what am I saying? I'm analyzing a completely different. Yeah, so this, knight takes c4. And yeah, I mean, I'm slightly better, but nothing big. Nothing significant. Here goes the Magnus pawn, or bishop e3. Yeah. And what about d5? Knight f4 is the main line, but rook e1 is stronger, and it scores better as well. So rook e1, play rook e1, guys. I guess that's the key takeaway from this game. To first find knight d3. What if bishop a5? Okay, this is just completely winning. Ah, the knight is trapped. Okay, enough. Okay, we're playing against an international master with white. Oh, we're gonna get our Alapin. Yeah, but with e6, how did this work? Kind of transposes into an exchange Caro. I think bishop b5 is important at some point. So if I'm not mistaken, if I go... Ah, what am I saying? No, an exchange Caro would be with the pawn here. The pawn is on c5. Let's go bishop b5. I think I saw Naroditsky playing like this. Okay, as soon as black goes bishop b... I know. We're playing a reversed... Queen's Gambit accepted type of thing? Reversed IQP positions. I don't like bishop e7, by the way. I think I can take. I already have a pawn on c3, so b4 is already threatened. So bishop takes c5 is kind of pretty logical. I have rook e1 with check. That looks pretty good. Yeah, isn't this just a disaster? Knight d4, bishop takes d4, queen takes d4. Knight g5. Knight g5, bishop takes f2, king takes f2, queen b6. Bishop e3. Bishop e3, queen takes b5, knight takes e6, f takes e6. I have bishop e3 here, I have knight d4 as well. I can take on c6 first. Okay. I'm being unreasonable. I'm gonna go knight e5. Oh, wait a second, isn't that falling for the same trick? What am I doing? What a genius. Oh, we live another day. Okay. But we're worse already. What a way of wasting your white. What a way. Okay, let's exchange one of the bishops. Hopefully they take on b2. Of course, I'm not fazed by that. I wish they did. I'm gonna take once on e6 and go knight d2. I'm not gonna take twice. I'm not that greedy. I'm even offering the pawn here because clearly there's some contact against f2. And actually, I think I already blundered. Knight g4. Queen takes g4. It's not clear. King h1, queen takes d2, queen takes c6. So rook knight d2 was kind of necessary. I'm gonna go king h1. Oh my goodness, what a horrible move that one as well. What am I doing? Okay, rook c1. I'm not that unhappy about this, I think. Although queen d4, if I take here, there's knight g4. Which would end everything I know. I should have gone h3 right away. I don't know what I'm doing with this position. Complete trash chess playing. Okay, we have 40 seconds. They're starting to think. Yeah, I thought about that. Let's go rook c3. I could have taken maybe. Knight f4. I'm losing. Because there's knight e2. Although there's rook f1 and on knight g3. Rook f3. I'm losing. Okay. I think this... Oh, okay. Let's see if we can save this. I'm down a rook and 2 pawns. I strongly doubt it. Thanks for the game. Shot. Yeah, I played very poorly. I mean, I go c3. Delayed Alapin according to the leeches. Opening base. It's the second most popular move, by the way. Just out of curiosity. They take with the pawn d4, knight c6, bishop b5. Okay, Naroditsky was right. Castles, bishop e7. I took. We're following the main line. The rook e1 is wrong. Such a natural move is wrong. And knight g5 doesn't work because of bishop takes f2. And in fact, what I did also doesn't work because of the bishop takes f2, but I completely... Yeah, I messed up. So rook e1 is fine as long as you go bishop e3, which I thought I had more. But you know, that's what happens when you don't have opening knowledge. You think you have more, things will look weird. Whenever you take a look at any opening for the first time, it's going to look weird. But okay, I should have gone bishop g5, and after castles I have bishop takes, and they have to take with the g pawn? Nah, it's better to sacrifice the pawn, you might as well. Okay, well, bishop g5. next time. And after bishop e6, knight bd2 and treat this positionally. Lesson learned. We have time for maybe 2 more games. We're playing against 2600. We're getting those good quality games. Ah, they're doing the same thing we're doing. Okay. Should we take the chance of playing with white? I mean, let's keep it flexible. Okay. So we can go e5 and it's a completely symmetrical position. But can we go d5 is the question. Or are we just getting into a worse type of Neo-Catalan stuff? Okay, we're gonna take white. We're essentially saying we do occupy the center, although I did go d6 and then d5, so it's a little bit weird. Okay, I expected that. Oh, I didn't expect that one though. Yeah, this one's a problem. Okay, so knight f6 back. That looks pretty sad. Knight e5 I don't like. Although I do provoke f4, I suppose. And then I have h6. And let's go for this. Looks horrible though. Ah, it looks horrible. Changing my mind now. Looks disgusting. Okay. Ugh, this looks horrible actually. Well, look at this bishop. It's doing nothing. Oh, I have g5 here. There we go. Now there's some future for this bishop. Okay, let's go. Where should we put the knight? Let's put our queen on d6 actually. Ah, no. Then bishop f4. Put the knight here. Okay, let's gain a tempo. Let's gain a tempo. Okay, let's sacrifice the pawn. Because we don't care. Especially if we're already struggling a little bit. Let's go queen d6. Holding on to everything. No, I'm not sure. I do have more center than my opponent. Okay, let's develop this bishop. Although knight h6 potentially is better. Because I want bishop f5 or bishop g4. And then bishop 66, bishop 66. This I have bishop g4. And I think we're finally equalizing. Took a while. Wait a second, d4. Okay, let's go knight f5. I don't have time for that. h3 potentially. Potentially strong. My king is extremely exposed. I have no pawns around my king. Look at this. It's pretty funny. If you're playing white. If you're playing black, it's not that funny. Okay. Let's stay with the king. That one I'm not so worried about. Yeah, now that I think about it, this doesn't make sense. And I don't have time. Haha! Okay, well, I think that's a good time to stop. Sorry about that, Makchudra. That was a complete steal. If you had pre-moved, I don't know. If you had pre-moved the G, like if you hadn't taken, like if you had played G5, for example, I would have lost on time. Quite sure. Oof. Thank you, Sam. Thank you. Yeah, hopefully not my last title, but you know, it's much better than CM for sure. The toilet title. I think I was talking about yesterday how CM is kind of, it's almost better to not have CM than, I mean, some people purposely don't buy it because it looks so bad. Good lord. What was going on in that game? So we both played this modern way. According to this is the Pirk invitation. So after d3, what are we supposed to do? I mean, we're both trying to play the same thing. But we should have gone c5 here, and it's slightly better for black according to the engine. So if we go e5, it's completely symmetrical, and of course white has a small plus, but c5, funnily enough, like okay, for a moment there the engine liked black a little bit more, but it's completely equal. I've never seen such a thing. So white is playing in this kind of Philidor-ish way, except that in the Philidor you have your bishop on e2 rather than on g2. And you just go rook b8 and b5. It reminds me of a I know now. It's like an it's essentially an anti-Sicilian. And then b5 and takes, d4, and d7. Okay. Well, I think this is a good time to stop. Hopefully everyone learned something there and tolerated me throughout. Hopefully I wasn't that annoying. What was I going to do? Analysis wise, I had something to talk about, but okay, I completely forgot. Thanks for joining. I think I'm gonna make a move now, and thanks everyone for tolerating me. I'll see you on Saturday around the same time I started this stream, 7 p.m. London time, and yeah.